Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon the time or time zone that you may be in by the time you see this video. Welcome to episode 2 of the Resolute Desk, and I am your host, Austin Julio Broughton, otherwise known on the internet as Dr. Julio, and remember, it's just a nickname, folks, relax. But this Resurrection Sunday, because that's what this is, it's not Easter. This is Resurrection Sunday. I wanted to speak about the importance of keeping God in our government. I wanted to speak about the importance of keeping the Lord at the foundation of what it is that we do as Americans. Some of the greatest changes, as I said in the first episode, some of the greatest changes in American history have happened during the Civil Rights Movement, when clergymen were dominating the streets, when spirit-filled college students, spirit-filled young people were marching in Selma, marching in Washington, marching on Washington, marching in Memphis, marching in Atlanta, marching in Montgomery. It is very interesting to me that God said to Abraham in his promise, those that bless thee will be blessed, those that curse thee will be cursed. And it is interesting to me to note that when we look at how the world is moving now, there seems to be something of a religious revival coming back to the United States. There seems to be more of a safety in being able to openly preach Christian doctrine. And it's very significant. I want to grab the Bible here for just a second. There is a passage that I found that I want to just break down and share with everybody today. This is going to be more of a sermon, if anything, than a talk. In the Gospel of John, which is my absolute favorite, one of the things I want people to understand is the significance of what Jesus came here to do. It is written in the Old Testament that there's no forgiveness of sins without the spilling of blood. And many people don't make this connection because I think many of us don't read the Bible like we should. But in the Old Testament, when God was visiting the 10 plagues upon Pharaoh in Egypt, he told the Israelites to sprinkle the blood of the lamb, the blood of a slain lamb over the doorpost. And that in doing so, that the death angel would pass over. That's where the Jews get the term Passover from, because the death angel literally passed over them and did not take the life of their firstborn child. And in response to that, in the New Testament, when Jesus says, this is my body, which is given for you, and he says, this is my blood, which has been poured out for you, I want people to understand this, that's not just symbolic. Jesus says also in the Gospel of John that as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. And I, if I be lifted up, will draw all men unto me. This is exactly why Caiaphas even said that it is expedient that one man should die for the people, because they said that if they let Jesus alone, that eventually all men would believe on him. And so it's interesting that God uses a corrupt person to accomplish an incorrupt task. And this is why when Jesus was taken before Pilate, the Jews answered him and said, we have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. And when Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid, and went again into the judgment hall, and saith unto Jesus, whence art thou? But Jesus gave him no answer. Then saith Pilate unto him, speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not that I have power to crucify thee, and have power to release thee? Jesus answered, thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Therefore he that hath delivered me unto you hath the greater sin. And from thenceforth Pilate sought to release Jesus. But the Jews cried out, saying, if you let him go, you are not Caesar's friend. Whomsoever make himself a king speaketh against Caesar. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought the Lord forth, and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the Pavement, but in the Hebrew Gabbatha. And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour. And he saith unto the Jews, behold your king. So Pilate was defying the Sanhedrin. He was defying the Pharisees. I do believe Pilate may have gotten a spiritual revelation that Jesus was exactly who he said he claimed to be. This is exactly why Pilate said that I find no fault in this man. And when he heard when they cried, saying, away with him, crucify him. Pilate said unto them, shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered and said, we have no king but Caesar. So the chief priests chose man over God. I will never forget that. The reason Jesus was crucified was because his own people rejected him. His own people sentenced him to death. And Pilate said, that he washed his hands, and he said, take him away, do it yourself. I'm innocent of this man's blood. And Jesus, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which was in the Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him. And the title above his head was Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. And at this point, I want to turn to the Gospel of Luke, where the two thieves are on the cross. And one thief asks him, if you are the Son of God, free us and free yourself. And the other turned and said, thou fool, do you not fear God? We deserve our condemnation, but this man hath done nothing amiss. And he looks at Jesus and he says, Lord, remember me when thou comest into thy kingdom. This man couldn't have got baptized. This man couldn't have gone and repented. He couldn't have gone and back and given whatever it was he stolen back to the family or people he took it from. Jesus looked at him with compassion and said, verily, verily, I say unto you, today you shall be with me in paradise. And that's all you have to do. All you have to do is believe that what Jesus did is sufficient, that his blood is sufficient to cover your soul. Your soul, my friends, is now the doorpost. America is now a doorpost. And what we need to see this country get back to where it's supposed to be, what we need to see this nation be as great as it can be, we need the blood of the Lamb on our doorposts, the doorposts of our hearts, the doorposts of our government walls, the doorposts of our buildings, the doorposts of our businesses, the hearts and minds of our youth, the hearts and minds of our children, the hearts and minds of each other. Jesus said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man will open the door, I'll come in and sup with him and he with me. Jesus Christ is Lord. And eventually every knee will bow and every tongue will confess this fact. So I say unto you, act now before it is too late. And if I'm ever elected president, if I'm ever elected to any political office, I will pray each and every day that my soul is covered by the blood, because I just want to be a voice crying out in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord. Somewhere I read the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And if he'll guide us, if he'll hold our hand, if he'll guide my heart and my hand, I'll go on in and try to make a better day tomorrow than we have today. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's on the way. We must do what we can to make a difference today. Y'all have a blessed one. Have a happy Resurrection Sunday. This has been the Resolute Voice. We're going to get back to the political content tomorrow, but understand it's all connected. It's all connected, people. We cannot let our technology outrun our theology. We cannot have a high blood pressure of creeds and things we say we'll do, yet an anemia and a lacking of deeds that we've actually done. You dig? We out.